During my diagnosis, they talked about I had 5 years to live. They gave me a diagnosis, I gave them a movement.
She didn't just survive breast cancer 4 times, she built a national movement. They call her the pioneer of the Black breast cancer movement. I just simply call her Mom, Caleen Eubanks Jackson.
Things have not gotten better. In order to have early detection, you have to start your screening earlier. We as an organization have been advocating for women to start at age 35 so that they at least have a better chance at finding whatever's going on in their body before age 40. The movement includes that age group because that's our future. Early detection will definitely be something that will save their lives.
Do you have any regrets?
It's given me my purpose, a will to live, the focus that I can do anything I set my mind to. So what's there to be sorry about?
What is your message to young Black women who are being diagnosed at alarming rates that are fearful? Today's episode is deeply personal for me. I get the opportunity and the privilege to sit down with my mother, Caleen Eubanks Jackson, founder and CEO of Sisters Network Incorporated. She's widely known and affectionately known as the pioneer in the Black breast cancer movement. Over the last 30 years, she has fought for women around the country, Black women battling breast cancer. She's created a legacy of sisterhood and survivorship. And I'm so happy to be here today to talk to her on Sisters in Survivorship. Mom, welcome to the podcast, Sisters in Survivorship. I'm so excited to have you here. Let's take it back to when you were first diagnosed back in 1993. Tell the viewers a little bit about your diagnosis, the stage, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how we got to Sisters Network and all the work that you've been doing over the last 30 years.
This is so exciting for me, and I'm just happy to be able to do this with you today. And talking about breast cancer is something I absolutely love to do. Well, in 1993, I was diagnosed at stage 2, ductal carcinoma, and I was treated with 6 months of chemotherapy, 6 weeks of radiation, and I had a lumpectomy. And it all went very well.
What was your thoughts when you were diagnosed? I mean, I know fear, like every woman, but what just went through your mind?
Well, besides being surprised and afraid of the diagnosis, having had someone die in my family from breast cancer, I thought that this was a death sentence. I really did. And during my diagnosis, they talked about having 5 years, making 5 years. And in my mind, that meant I had 5 years to live. So it kind of fast forward my thinking about my total lifespan and what I'm going to do with my life.
Right. And so here we are, 31 years later, and you have been diagnosed a total of 4 times.
Correct.
And you don't have to take us through each diagnosis. I know the most recent was in 2019. Talk about the difference in that diagnosis. And actually, I think you talk about you have a feeling in your body or sensation.
The diagnosis of breast cancer for me has always been, I was able to know when the cancer was there because of the sensation that I feel in my body. So the first time I felt it was in my right breast. The second and third time I felt it. The fourth time in 2019, I felt it in my left breast. And I had to convince the doctor after mammogram and ultrasound that I am not clear of breast cancer, that I need another type of test. So they gave me the MRI and they found another cancer. And I was diagnosed with stage 1. So early detection is very dear to my heart because it does work.
And so I know the death sentence of 5 years initially prompted you to look for an opportunity to help other women because you found a void in some of the services at that time that were being provided. Tell me about the birth of Sisters Network and what prompted you to start the organization, what it means to you today.
Yes. In being diagnosed, my immediate thought was to pick up the phone and dial a toll-free number and join a national organization for breast cancer, because I missed having the sisterhood of the bonding, and I felt I needed that. And because that was not available to me, that was a shock, because I just assumed that was something we all need. So I thought about what could I do as an individual to make a difference, not only for myself, but for other women, because I saw the void that was going on in the 90s. The women were being demeaned, they were being ignored, we were underdiagnosed, and the shame of having breast cancer, our community was very much, the image of breast cancer was very intolerable. And I didn't feel any of that. I didn't feel that there should be a shame connected with having been diagnosed with breast cancer. So I wanted to start a sisterhood that would give us hope, encourage women to do better, to live longer, to help find a cure. So the movement was supposed to, and it has, changed the lives of many women across the country.
And I know back then you always referred to it as a national organization, even though it was local at the moment, but you always had that vision. What gave you that vision and permission to dream for it to be as big as it is?
Well, I come from a long family of doers and community-minded women. And I always felt that if this was something I wanted to do, I never thought I couldn't do it. So people ask, well, how did you start a national organization? I started it with no money, no blueprint, no educational knowledge about health. But what I used was my faith, the resilience that I felt I had, and the determination to make a difference. That was very important to me.
Yeah. And, you have personally set such a major example for not only myself, but for, of course, your granddaughters, and for women across the country that admire your tenacity. You've ruffled some feathers by fighting and advocating for Black women, and I know that you do that with no regrets.
Absolutely.
And so why do you think it's important for Black women to advocate for themselves? And it's absolutely imperative that they do.
Well, in advocating for yourself, you are able to help be a partner in your journey of breast cancer. It's necessary so that you are able to help make decisions by educating yourself, by learning what's going on in the community around you, what services are available. These are important to your survival. It's important for you as an individual if you ever need to help someone else in your family. The sisterhood is available. It helps you be a better person, makes your journey that much more smooth, and you're able to bond with women who think like you, who want the same thing.
And so there's 30 plus chapters around the country, Survivor Run, which is a unique model.
Yes.
And has been sustained over these 30 years, the organization. What does the organization mean to you, and do you believe it gave you your purpose?
It absolutely gave me my purpose. I'm grateful to having taken the time to develop an organization that has done great works in the community. And I still have the same goal of doing good in the community and helping women to be better. The advocacy component is essential. We have to change laws and policies, and that's where some of the answers will be for our future.
So do you think that, post-COVID, of course, the virtual element of advocacy has taken root. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that in place of the in-person aspects of the sisterhood that Sisters Network still provides? Do we need both? Do we need just one? Or can they both exist together?
Well, we've seen now since COVID that they both need to exist together. In-person is essential for the sisterhood and the bonding, The Zoom or webinars are essential to spread the word and keep the consistency of the organization so that we're all on the same page and working towards the same goals. So they work well together, and the organization is thriving.
So let's talk about the next generation. We're getting so many calls, 3,000 calls a year plus at Sisters Network. What is your message to young Black women who are being diagnosed at alarming rates, that are fearful?
Well, as you know, our goal is to spend more time and more information sharing for the younger generation, the 20s and the 30s, because that's the future. And we know that if we can start a movement with that generation, that will make the difference in the future of breast cancer in the African American community.
You were ahead of your time when you started Sisters Network. A lot of the programs that you presented, some, were very effective. Some were a little bit too early for the community to embrace, which is okay. And we're bringing back some of those programs or reinventing them to make sure that they penetrate, particularly towards young Black survivors and Black women. What can you say about early screening and early detection to our community in particular?
Well, the guidelines say to start your initial breast cancer screening at age 40. Our community, the women are dying before age 40 and being diagnosed earlier every year. And so we as an organization, since the very beginning, have been advocating for women to start at age 35 so that they at least have a better chance at finding whatever's going on in their body before age 40. So we even feel even earlier now because things have not gotten better. Women are still getting diagnosed earlier. And in order to have early detection, you have to start your screening earlier.
You're a very optimistic person, and it exudes when people meet you, your optimism, your charisma. How are you so full of joy and life, having lived 4 times with breast cancer? Where does that spirit come from at 82?
Well, I'm 82 years young. We have to get that straight. And life is precious. And I believe that to my core. And for us to move forward, you have to know that there's a better life if you choose it.
So you think mindset plays a big role?
Your mindset, you have to make your health your top priority. All of us need to do that, the young, the old. And when you have a choice, shouldn't you choose happy? Shouldn't you choose love? Shouldn't you choose the best of what's offered? Makes sense to me.
You touched on your treatment, and I can't talk about breast cancer without talking about the side effects of treatment. And so that young woman who's just been diagnosed, or that woman who's scared of the treatment she's about to embark on, about losing her hair. Tell me what your thoughts are on that.
Losing our hair I can relate to very much so. And it is important because that's our crown of glory. But we also have to know that we're talking about living or dying. So when we have that hair talk, we know the perspective that you should be deciding on living. Having all that hair in a casket is just not pretty.
What does it mean to you to be called a pioneer?
Well, that's a very interesting name to be called. And I actually receive it well. And I find it very interesting that it's taken 31 years to be acknowledged that what you're doing is important. And it's a compliment for sure.
And you were recently acknowledged by ASCO, which is the American Society of Oncologists,
Yes.
Very esteemed organization. What did that mean to you to be recognized as the Patient Advocate of the Year?
That was very exciting because it acknowledged the fact that Sisters Network, that we are on track, that we are doing a good job. When you think of ASCO, the fact that it is an association of over 100 international organizations, they're saying, Sisters Network, you've done a good job. So that makes me very proud.
That's wonderful. Talk to me a little bit about some of the side effects that you've experienced with, having breast cancer, lymphedema being one that's very common for survivors, and what has it done to you? How do you manage it? That type of thing.
Lymphedema is definitely a threat to your general health if you should be diagnosed with it. But it is something that if you take care of your body and do the lymphatic drainage, which you have to learn from a therapist, you can manage it, but you'll have it for the rest of your life. It's not something that gets better and you can forget that you have it. Every day I have to do the massage on my right arm. And I swim, I steam, I jacuzzi.
How much do you swim? Tell them.
I swim at least 3 times a week because I love it and because it's good for my lymphedema. It's just good general exercise. The steam, they tell me in the lymphedema book, their journal, that says that you shouldn't be in cold water and you shouldn't be in steam. Well, I do both, and my lymphedema is under control. So I think sometimes when you read something, you have to make sure it means you. Everything you read about something doesn't mean you. So I can say, whoever else has lymphedema, find out what works for you. Call me if you need a hint on what to do.
And that's the fun side of you that so many people have seen and grown to love. What makes you happy?
Life makes me happy. You make me very happy. My granddaughters make me happy. I just feel very blessed.
So let's talk about legacy and family. A lot of people know that I'm kind of stepping into some very big shoes. Tell me about that, what that means to you.
I am a proud mom, that I have a beautiful, smart daughter that is willing and capable to take over an organization that is dear to my heart. And I feel that I'm excited to watch you continue to excel and make Sisters the best that we can be. And you're doing a fabulous job. So I'm just proud.
Well, thank you. What does it mean to, see me step into some very big shoes to continue your legacy and build on the foundation that you've set for Sisters Network?
Well, it has taken you long enough, and I'm not kidding. And I'm so proud that you have made the decision to step in these shoes because you fill them beautifully. And I'm excited to continue to watch you grow and thrive in this position.
Thank you, Mom. Talk about my 2 daughters who
are beautiful babies.
Yes, they're young professionals, 28 and 30. Why does Sisters Network mean so much to you for like Brianna and Alexis?
Well, first and foremost, those are my 2 favorite girls, and they're beautiful and loving granddaughters. And I want the best for them in their health, in their future, in their business. And I want to do my part as the CEO of Sisters Network to make sure that the movement includes that age group, because that's our future. They need to be, not just they, but women their age need to be better prepared so that early detection will definitely be something that will save their lives.
So do you have any regrets?
I can honestly say I don't have any regrets.
Even being diagnosed 4 times?
No. It's given me my purpose. It's given me a will to live. It's given me the focus that I can do anything I set my mind to. So what's there to be sorry about?
So we know the guidelines say go at 40 for your mammogram. Talk to me about your feelings about those guidelines. And I know you mentioned earlier about women going Black women in particular, due to our statistics, going earlier. What do you think about the guidelines? Do you think they need to be adjusted, or, tell me your feelings about that?
Well, since I've been diagnosed in 1993, those guidelines have started at 40, they went up to 50, and now they're back to 40. The problem is they have never been low enough all along. Under 40 is what we need to work towards, and that's why advocacy is so important, because that's a policy issue. So it has to be changed, and the only way you can change something like that is through advocacy. So that part of our organization is growing, and we plan to use the new recruits, the young women, the 20s and 30s, with that energy to make something happen in the community, because we're dying too young from breast cancer. We're not catching it early enough because the guidelines are too high.
Okay. So 30 years of this work, 3 decades as the pioneer and leader in the Black breast cancer movement. You've come a long way since those days in Houston where you had your initial brochure and you go to the movie theater line and go up to women, and everybody in Houston called you the breast cancer lady. Tell me what it feels like to go from that work, very grassroots, to establishing a national organization, to being recognized in the middle of Times Square last October for the 30th anniversary. 3 decades is nothing to sneeze at for a nonprofit, particularly a Black nonprofit, to still remain, as you said, in the Black and sustainable and impactful.
Well, all of those things that you mentioned are all equally important, and I still would go up to a person in a restaurant or standing in line at the movie theater and talk to them about breast cancer. I just have a need to let people know. I hope they receive it well, but they will get a message that early detection can save your life. That's just who I am. I can't do it any way different.
And so what did it feel like being plastered in the middle of Times Square on the NASDAQ billboard?
Well, it was very exciting to see your face plastered bigger than life. It was fun. We had a great time. And interestingly enough, the people right there at Times Square just came over and wanted to thank me and wanted to have a glass of champagne with us, of course. But it was just nice. And these folks were from out of the country. They weren't local people. Mm-hmm. So it was different, very exciting.
So, we have to talk about your book.
Yes, we do.
So this is your memoir. It is all about your journey in the company of my sisters, my story, my truth. Tell us a little bit about this book, what it meant to you, what it represents.
It's nice to have finished my first and only book and to be able to have something that talks about my story, my truth. I'm very proud of it. And I know that it will be something that is helpful to anyone who reads it, because it tells my story, and it also gives you some ideas of how to continue the movement so things get better and better.
And to the survivors that make up Sisters Network, what do you want to say to those beautiful women who are on the front line for Sisters Network that run the many chapters on behalf of the organization?
I have to give them a big thank you, and that I appreciate them, because I know how hard it is to work in the field of breast cancer in our community. And the women, the grassroots, the boots on the ground, as we say, they are doing a fantastic job. And we would not be a national organization doing as much work as we do in the community without those ladies in the different communities.
To the woman who's watching right now and contemplating, or listening for that matter, contemplating should she go get a mammogram, a young Black woman, a middle-aged woman, a woman who's, doesn't have the means, what do you say to her?
Well, one of the reasons that we're grateful for having our program called BCAP, Breast Cancer Assistance Program, we formulated that program in 2006 because we knew that women needed the help to get a mammogram or an ultrasound. And like I said, we include ultrasound. No one else is doing that because as an organization, we know you need both the mammogram and the ultrasound to have 100% knowing that that test told you what's going on in your body. So Sisters Network, I'm grateful that we're able to pay for that for women across the country.
And for that young woman who's sitting there saying, I'll do it later, what do you say to her?
I feel sorry for the woman who thinks that later is going to work for her, that her need to, whatever she's working on or don't have time for, is more important than living a quality life. You have to know that breast cancer could mean you, and getting a yearly mammogram is not much to ask to do.
And I know you've talked about the young lady who wants to go get a dress or get her nails done or get her hair done. What do you say to her?
I understand beauty is important. Living and dying is what we're talking about. Choose living. Go and do what you need to do. Get your mammogram and your ultrasound.
Well, thank you, Mom. And not just for surviving, but for building, for believing, and for making a pathway to better health for generations of Black women around the country. I say that on behalf of them, and we love you.
Oh, sweetheart, that means a great deal.